This is The Commercial Wealth. My mission is simple: to help you achieve financial freedom through commercial property using calculated risks and practical education. My name is Basha Deswani and I'm your host. Welcome to the show. Hi, John. Welcome to the podcast. Tell us a little bit about you and your financial planning journey. How did you start your company? And how many years it's been for you?
Yeah, thanks, Vasha. My journey started 25 years ago. I left university and I did a Bachelor of Commerce there, and I knew that I loved people and I also loved numbers.
Yeah.
So I gravitated towards financial planning as a result of that. So I did my apprenticeship with the banks for the first few years, and 21 years ago I bought a laptop and set up my own business. And that's where my fortress, Milton, started.
Awesome. 21 years ago, just from a laptop. And just tell us a bit about your team and how many people do you have and like clients you serve? Is it in Brisbane or in Sydney as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my fortress has actually got two locations now. It's up in there's a business up in Townsville and there's also a business down here in Brisbane. So between the two offices, there's about 80 team members with multiple partners throughout. So that's where the journey started in Brisbane. It was literally buying a laptop and going out there and speaking to people about how to go and create, how to go and distribute, and how to go and protect their wealth.
Amazing. On that note, just tell us a little bit about, in simple terms, what does financial freedom really mean, and when do you know that you have achieved it?
Yeah, very good point. Look, I actually use the word financial independence.
Not freedom.
Freedom, independence are probably two very similar things. It's when you get to the point in your life, from a dollars and cents point of view, whether you can choose to work or choose not to work. It's having the cash flow, having the assets to go and support the kind of lifestyle that you want to go and live. And everyone's lifestyle is different, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people are very happy on a modest amount. Some people want all the money in the world. But that financial independence or financial freedom comes to the point where you can choose not to work or not to work. And they're the conversations that we talk to people about all day, every day.
Yeah.
What are you doing to go and create enough dollars and cents to go and get to the point where you can actually have that ability to wind back or stop totally?
Yeah.
And retirement is different for everyone. It's some people never retire. They literally work until the day that they become an angel.
Yeah.
And that's by choice.
Yeah.
Some people absolutely come with a date on a calendar and they say, that is the date.
This is it.
I'm pulling up stumps and I'm no longer working, or what I like to say, you're going to become permanently unemployed for the rest of your life.
Wow.
And I like
which one are you?
I love what I do.
Yeah.
I really do love what I do. And I love helping people. I love dealing with people, and I also love the numbers and the strategy side of the fence as well. So I'll be doing something in some capacity in our industry for a very long time. Okay. Until I'm put out the pasture.
So you are the
somewhere.
first one. You're not never going to retire.
I love what I do, and that's probably the truth. For me, financial independence is one thing. To be able to get the business to a point where it can operate with or without me. Me personally, to go and look after my family and my work family as well. To ensure that there's the financial independence on that front. And it might sound a bit weird, but serving our community too.
Yes.
Because
it's not weird.
No, well, that's
it's all about serving our community, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of human beings on the street that need good guidance in every facets of financial to work towards that financial freedom. Yeah. And they need to have good professionals along the way to be able to relate to and deal with and help them make some decisions.
Yeah, 100%. What's the biggest mistake that you see every day people are making with their money?
Yeah, biggest mistake, probably from a very high level, it's just not having a strategy or a game plan, right? So I think human beings are very good at going out and accumulating stuff, right? Let's go and buy a property. Let's go and buy a share. Let's go and set up a super fund. Let's go and accumulate stuff. But where is that stuff going to take you moving forward, right? Yeah. What kind of cash flow is it going to produce? Is it achieving what drives you as a human being and achieving your personal goals and on the personal side of the fence, but also on the wealth fence as well. So it's I suppose from a very high level point of view, it's not having a game plan and bringing together a good strategy to bring that all together. So
I think there's also a perception that I don't need a financial planner until I'm 60. Is that true when you see your clients, and what's the best habit to do? Like even in your 30s or even in your 20s, should you have a financial planner by your side to help you guide you through that process?
Yeah, look, Varsha, I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
People tend to come to us when they're ready to retire.
Yeah.
If I had $1 for every person that said, John, I wish I met you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and 20 years ago and adopted the strategies that you're talking about now for my future, but if I'd seen you 20 or 30 years ago, if I had $1, I'd be a millionaire 10 times over, right? So that's, I suppose, the key to that is do what you can when you can. So when you're just starting out on your wealth journey, have a look at what you're doing, just the little things, what your cash flow is looking like. Are you borrowing the right amount? Are you borrowing too much? What assets are you purchasing too? Are they good quality or are they rubbish quality? And do the one percenters. Right, so don't get financially lazy. Do those one percenters and do them consistently, because lots of 1% added up together make quite a big number.
Yeah. So, say for example, if someone comes to you when they are at 50, they have turned 50, and now they're like, okay, I want to start my financial planning journey now and be prepared for the retirement. What would you advise them to do, or would you have seen it in their portfolio and you were like, oh, wish you came to me a little bit earlier, we could have structured it better and we could have diversified your portfolio in a much better way for you to sort of ease you into retirement. How does that work?
Yeah, well, look, the 50-year-old age is a really important trigger point. People have generally got about a 10-year window they're starting to think about or wanting to go and retire. All right, so that's a window. They've got a race to the end there. So they haven't got multiple decades to go and create their wealth.
Exactly.
They need to be executing their strategy perfectly. So structuring their assets really well. All right, so making sure who owns what. Should superannuation own it? Should you own the asset? Should you own it jointly with your partner potentially, or should you own that through a trust or a company? Now, structuring the asset can make a massive difference when you look forward 10 years. What are they doing? What's your strategy with your debt over the next 10 years?
Exactly.
Is it increasing your debt position to basically increase your asset position for the next 10 years for retirement? Or are you in a debt reduction strategy? That's another key portion that we look at. It all revolves back to then your cash flow. Okay, what comes into the tin from the money that you generate personally, whether it be through business or whether you're working for somebody else? What are you generating from your assets that you're producing as well? And also what goes out? What goes out to the tax office, goes out to the banks, and what do you need to go and run the lifestyle that you're accustomed to? Once you've established what your cash flow looks like, it then allows you to make some decisions. Right? Do you put more money into super? Do you not put money into super? Because once you put it in there, it's gone. Well, not gone, it's not accessible until you hit a certain age. Do you go and buy that next property, or do you go out there and buy that next share? And how much debt do you engage in to do that? Or not what you should do, it's maybe what you shouldn't be doing as well. Okay, not making that next investment decision because you're putting yourself at too much risk. So it's
just overcapitalizing and getting more debt is never a good idea.
That's it. Well, there is the perfect amount of debt that everyone should hold. Okay. All right. So it comes back to two things. It comes back to your cash flow and what you can afford comfortably while still maintaining a good lifestyle, the lifestyle that you're accustomed to, and then also having enough cash flow to ensure that if interest rates rise, you're going to be okay. And if interest rates fall, what are you doing with those surplus dollars?
So you're not under a pressure all the time when the interest rates are going up and you're like, oh my God, and that happens when your debt is more than what it should be in terms of to keep at ease, for example.
Absolutely. Your debt's got to be, from a cash flow point of view, you've got to have some buffer in there. So if interest rates do rise and fall, you're still going to be okay. And you're not having to reduce your lifestyle to go and make that debt work. So that cash flow is really important when it comes to debt. The second part is how much debt too, from a debt ratio point of view. Because you've got an amount of assets and you've got an amount of debt. There's a perfect debt ratio that everyone should have in their life according to their asset positions that they have. And
what's the usual perfect debt
we like
ratio?
to keep people between 30 and 70%.
30 and 70.
Sometimes that's what I call the perfect range. But based on what someone's need to go and create wealth is, because if you don't need debt to go and achieve your desired retirement or desired financial freedom position, then actually we don't encourage it. Right? Because if you're going to achieve all of your financial goals with the use of debt or without the use of debt, then don't do it. But if you need debt to get yourself to where you want to be, then don't be scared of it. Understand it, embrace it, and utilize it in the right way. So everyone's debt ratio is very different.
It's very different.
Based on what they need and also what they're comfortable with too.
And what keeps them happy.
True,
isn't it?
very true. Because at the end of the day, if you can't sleep at night because of your debt position, then your health and all of that kind of stuff is far more important than your wealth position. So
then it's not financial freedom. It's not.
Correct. But at the end of the day, it's about information, education about these things because it's about tailoring it to the individual, but also understanding what debt means. Okay, the differences between home loan debt and investment debt, because fundamentally they're very, very different, and showing people what that means.
Can you give us an example on the difference between a home loan debt and an investment debt?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, home loan debt is literally a loan that you borrow to go and buy your house. That debt is used to go and buy a home, to put a roof over your head that you got to be comfortable with, and you can see yourself being in for a little while. That debt is non-tax deductible, right? So the interest you pay, there's no tax deductions. You need to go and earn money, you need to pay tax on that income, and then you've got to go and pay your home loan. All right. So home loan debt in its basic format, we try and get rid of as quick as we can. Getting rid of that saves a lot of interest. It builds up a lot of personal cash flow that people can utilise for lifestyle, and then maybe utilise some of that surplus cash flow once they've reduced their home loan debt to go borrow what we call some good debt. So investment debt to go and buy utilised to go and buy some shares, or investment debt to go and buy some investment property. Investment debt is tax deductible. So if you're paying interest on that, the tax office will give you some money back when you go and lodge your tax return. So it's very, very powerful. So home loan debt works the other way, tax deductible, and you need to earn a lot more money to pay that loan off. Whereas investment debt, there's a lot of beautiful tax kickers in there to go and assist people with creation of wealth.
Right, okay. So we can put that in two categories basically, and home loan would be in bad debt, and then investment would be in a good debt category.
There's probably another little category I'll throw in there. There's what I call bad debt. All right. So bad debt is credit card debt, debt against cars. Cars go down in value, and there's no tax deductions attached to that. And credit card debt, we all know what that looks like, right?
Yes.
Home debt is a sort of semi-good and bad debt, right? It's against a good asset that will tend to grow over time. Okay, so the asset is good, okay, but the debt is non-tax deductible. Whereas investment debt for investments, good quality investments, if invested the right way, should grow progressively over time. And the debt against it is also tax deductible. So there's a win-win there.
There's a win-win, If someone is to start their journey from zero, what would be the first 3 financial habits that they must have in order for them to start from zero?
Yeah, probably a big one is surround yourself with good quality people, because information and education is key. All right. Before you even start on the dollars and cents discussions, it's surround yourself with good quality people. Buy your bread from the baker, buy your meat from the butcher, and get good financial guidance from people who know. So that should go without saying, but it's actually really, really key. Don't think it's ever too late. Okay, get out there and do what you can when you can, because ultimately, at the end of the day, 10% of nothing is still nothing. Right? So 10% of $1. Okay, creates a little bit of money. And it's the compounding evolution of wealth. Right. So when you first start your financial journey, you literally got nothing in the tin. And progressive good decisions made over time will create what I call that exponential curve. It starts off feeling like you're going nowhere. Good quality decisions that are made financially to buy good quality assets, to engage in good quality financial strategy, managing cash flow, using property, shares, super, all the ingredients, all the financial ingredients that we utilize will see your wealth increase. And then when people get to that end result called retirement through that financial journey, they think that they don't need to do anything anymore because they've already got there. That's when the game starts. Right.
Okay.
Because you've had the most. Generally, when people retire, you've had the most wealth that you've ever had in your life. Right. You've got the most net worth sitting in your back pocket already. That's when you need to make good quality financial decisions to make sure that your wealth continues to grow through not the years, but the decades of retirement. And then the succession of that wealth as well. Whether you got $1 to go and hand on to the next generation, depending on what your wants and desires. You might want to go and spend every last dollar until the day that you become an angel again, or you want to success of that wealth to the next generation in the right way. So that's, I suppose, start right and right is one of the comments.
The key, So I think we are, like, you have to be patient, you have to be persistent, and you have to persevere through it. You just can't be like, okay, I'm going to do it for a certain amount of years and then we'll just be whatever comes my way basically, or be rational with my finances. So it's just like a good habit throughout your whole life basically.
Absolutely. Keep making those decisions and keep moving forward. One of the big things that I've seen people come undone with regards to their wealth is this little thing that sits on everyone's shoulder called greed. Right? So I've seen people make some fantastic financial decisions, use good financial strategy, practice all the things that we suggest, and then it comes to this thing called greed. They might just want that little bit more. Nothing wrong with wanting more, but doing things in the right way. Because a little example, I suppose, that I use, Varsha, you could come down and have a conversation with me and you could be feeling really good about yourself because last year your properties and your shares and your super returned 10% and your portfolio went up and everything was working really beautifully because you had a great strategy, you had beautiful investments and everything was just working fine. And you could be feeling really good about yourself until you meet me at a barbecue and I might say, Varsha, last year I did 20%. And then all of a sudden you feel really defeated because you want that 20 or you want that greed or you want that little bit more.
What am I doing with my life?
The person next door has that and then you got this. So you change all of your personal strategy around to go and try and suit the person next door where they might be in a totally different financial position. They might have different goals and objectives in life and you do all of that and then wonder why it doesn't work. Right? So it's that greed. So irrelevant of the percentages, there's just that person wanting that more. Focus on yourself because the only person that you got to convince is the person that you're looking at in the mirror.
True. Stay focused, be in your lane because your position is completely different than the other person you're talking to.
And then don't leave anything on the table. Don't be financially lazy. Right? Keep moving forward. Keep doing those 1%ers and keep getting good advice along the way from your trusted professionals in your world to keep making those very proactive decisions.
Can you give us an example of one of your clients or maybe share a story of where you have seen one person being in a really bad position financially when they came to you and they have thrived once they followed your advice, and then the other one was like they were in a really good position and then they just started making some wrong choices when it came to the finances and then it would just went down with their finances?
Look, one of the good news stories was probably only last week. They walked through the door and they've been clients of our business for the last 15 years. And before they got through the door, they reached out and they gave me a big hug. And they said, John, thank you for what you've actually done and thank you and what your business has done for our financial position. This was a family of modest wealth. They weren't massive income earners, but they did all the things right progressively over time. They had the right amount of money to suit their strategy. They bought good quality assets that weren't going to go and double overnight, but they weren't going to go to zero either. Right? They were going to go progressively grow through good quality property, through good quality diversified shares, utilising the superannuation rules or what they call the legislation, but what I call the rules, using that to the best of their ability because they were on that 10-year window of going into retirement and they had to maximise every last dollar to go and hit the income that they wanted in retirement. So that insured themselves sufficiently along the way. And there was a bit of a health hiccup along the way as well. Without the appropriate insurances, their finances would have struggled. Right? But they had the right insurances to kick in when they needed it the most.
Right.
So they were probably what I call the
ideal.
The ideal outcome. And now they're 5 years into retirement and they're just ticking all the boxes. They're living a great lifestyle. They're putting definitely smiles on our staff's faces as well.
That's awesome.
So that was just a typical example of just doing the right things progressively and not getting financially lazy.
And what was the other side of it?
The other one was a lady I can remember distinctly. We had to part ways with the advice that we were giving her because she was retired. She was just recently retired, and she had what I call probably the perfect strategy. Right? She had everything in the right sections between her assets, her balance between properties and shares, her cash positioning. She had the perfect amount in and outside of super. She had perfect structures through companies and trusts, and cash flow was perfect. Right? Her asset base was solid. Then what popped up was that thing I mentioned before, that little word called greed. She just wanted more. She had more than enough to see herself out through her retirement years, probably 3 times over, but she wanted more. And she went into...
Who did she met at the barbecue?
Yeah, there was there was probably a few people there. There was probably what I call I'll call it the product spruiker. Okay, not the financial strategist, not the good quality professional, but the product spruiker.
Right.
When it comes to spruiking shares and also spruiking property.
Yeah.
And she, instead of adopting strategy, she focused on product. Okay, I wanted to go buy product.
Yeah.
And she bought lots of product, and the product just wasn't great. Okay, the product went down in value, so she had to go and sell all of her good quality assets to go and put out a few fires that she'd created on these purchases of properties and shares, and turned her strategy upside down. So she took all her money out of what I call a beautiful tax environment called superannuation to put out some fires that she had on the personal front.
Yeah.
And she sold good quality assets to go and then have to go and settle and buy what I call a very poor quality asset. So that was probably that word greed. Okay, nothing wrong with the individual. She's a beautiful lady. So we had to actually disengage with the advice that she wasn't taking from us.
Right.
So yeah, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly out there, and we prefer to focus on the good.
The conclusion is just to stay focused and just follow your advice. Yeah.
Yep. And look, there's no doubt that sometimes every good quality strategy needs to bend and twist. All right. So you got to be fluid because life changes.
Yeah.
Health changes. Relationships change. Financial goals also change as well between what people want. So every financial planning needs to be flexible. Like interest rates, we were talking about that before. When interest rates move, what does that mean? You've got to be prepared for that in advance. So every strategy needs to have plenty of buffer. It needs to be fluid, but like you mentioned before, you've got to be able to stay focused on what next, and keep moving forward.
Yeah, stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Love it.
What is the biggest difference between wealthy and being financially free?
I see plenty of people with lots of assets, right? And they've built up a good amount of wealth. But all of those assets mean nothing if you can't rub $2 together. And what I mean by that is if you don't have the cash flow that comes off those assets to go and be able to turn that cash flow into goods and services, fun, holidays, financial freedom. So cash flow is key, but also having access to your assets as well. Right? And I suppose the perfect example that we talk to clients about all the time is being asset rich, but also being cash flow rich. As the terminology that we've always heard in the past, being asset rich but income poor. So what does that mean, right? It means when I suppose you've got so many assets there, but you can't utilize them. There's only so much cash flow that comes off them. So what I'm referring to there is maybe having a lot of property in your world.
True.
That's good. You might own your home. You might own 1 or 2 or 10 investment properties, whatever that looks like. But you're totally reliant on just the income that you're getting off the assets, because that might be enough to go and live the lifestyle that you're accustomed to.
Yeah.
But if it's not, where are you going to get access any of your capital from? Because you can't sell the back toilet off to take the timber down to Bunnings and exchange it for cash. I've tried it. It doesn't work, okay?
Have you tried it?
They throw rocks at you and they tell you to get out of their car park. But that's the nature of a property. Good quality asset. It's an asset that we talk about all the time. You can't eat portions of it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can only eat the cash flow or the rent that you get from it.
Yeah.
Whereas I suppose balancing that with an element of shares, diversified shares. When I say shares, I just talk about diversified bags, so not speculating, not punting. But shares produce a cash flow as well. They pay you dividends. And you've also got access to some of the capital when you need it. And that's a very powerful tool, especially when you're leading into retirement or also retired, where you've got an asset base that is been feeding you some cash flow, but you've also got access to the money where you can go and potentially sell down a proportion, put that cash into your top pocket and go and top up that cash flow, the now in retirement. So that in itself is making sure that the assets that have got you to retirement are now going to be whether they're the assets or the right style or the right proportions. Or the structure should get you through to the next part of your retirement as well.
Yeah. So one can always come to you and then you will suggest whether it's a good idea to diversify or just stay in the structure where you are and then keep pushing in the different direction. For example, if someone has just got a structure in property, then if they come to you, then rather than asking them to sell a couple of properties, you will ask them moving forward, let's just diversify more into shares and stuff, so then you have a diversified portfolio.
Yeah, spot on. Look, the first thing we do when anyone walks through the door is we want to understand their current position. Right. So once we understand what assets that they've got, where they've got them structured and where they've got them positioned, we actually show them where they're going to be. Right. So when we fast forward that out 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, so in order to go and give financial advice, you need to understand where you are. And if we map out with regard, depending on their time frame to retirement, what does your retirement look like when you turn your income off from the work that you do, exit out of your business or whatever that looks like? What does your cash flow look like? I'm permanently unemployed for the rest of your life, because that's what someone does when they retire, right? They become permanently unemployed where their income turns off, and what does the assets that they've accumulated, what do they produce, right? And if they like what that looks like, then sometimes we don't need to do anything. Okay, beautiful. You've got things beautifully on your way. Go forth and conquer. But if you don't like what that cash flow looks like, do something about it or start planning for it. So we find that a lot of people, when they do talk to us, they've got no idea what their cash flow looks like when they retire. And that's a
people don't plan for retirement. A lot of people don't, and they're just like on a day in, day out sort of a thing. And they're just like, okay, I've got 5-year plan, or I've got 1 or 2 years plan. I know where I'm going, and we'll see and we'll take it from there, basically. But they don't usually. A lot of people don't usually plan for retirement.
Absolutely. And look, that's what our business, I believe, does very, very well. We actually show people where they're going to be, all right? With a fair degree of certainty, we show people where they're going to be. And if they like what that looks like, fantastic. They just might need a bit of a tidy up. But if they don't like what it looks like, then do something about it. Take action and make some financial decisions. So,
how important is cash flow compared to net worth?
I think cash flow is everything, because cash flow means that you can put $1 in your top pocket and do something with it without.
So what is actually net worth? What does that really mean?
Yeah, net worth is really just the value of your assets, less your debt, okay? Because you got an X amount of assets, less your debt is your net worth. So that's the amount of money that you got sitting there in your top pocket. And if, as an example, if all of that wealth is in your family home, all right, that's good. You've created wealth through the family home. What does your cash flow look like when you go and retire? Right? Because if you've got a beautiful home, let's just use the example, if you've got a beautiful $5 million house, okay, lovely, beautiful property, but if you've got no assets outside of your family home and you go and retire, what are you living on? Well, the safety net in this country is called the age pension, right? But the age pension is not a massive amount of money. It's normally meant to pay people enough just to keep them above the breadline. I would argue that it's less than that, but the age pension is a baseline in this country when you hit a certain age. So
is that 60 or 60?
Currently it's 67 years of age. So you're expected to work through to age 67, and then if you can access the age pension, then that's when it kicks in. Up until then, you're on your own. So having a beautiful property that you're living in is great. Okay, might make you feel nice and all that, but if it can't run $2 together, or if you doesn't produce a cash flow, that's a problem. So that's always the trade-off conversation that we have with people along the way, along their financial journey to create wealth, also at retirement. How much roof do you want over the top of your head, or how much value do you want in that? And on the flip side of that, I've seen people live in lesser value houses, and they've got money invested outside of their family home, and they've got a good balance of properties and shares and superannuation. Rentfesters is an example of that, absolutely. And I've seen people with still a good amount of net wealth sitting there on their personal balance sheet, and the cash flow that they generate is extraordinary. They got so much cash flow that they can't spend it. Right? They travel around the world and enjoy lifestyle and do all those kind of things in retirement, but they might live in a more modest value house. And so I've got 2 clients in my that I talk to with exactly the same amount of net worth, and literally one has all the net worth in their home, and she's retired, and she's on the age pension, but she's happy. Okay, she grows all the veggies in the backyard. She looks over some green rolling hills, and she is absolutely happy. But she's got a large lump sum of money sitting in that roof over her head. Right. Now the other client with very similar amount of net worth. Literally live in a caravan. Okay, so I'm not joking about that. They they literally live in a caravan, nice caravan. But they got all their money is invested outside their family home, outside of their caravan, and in properties and shares and super, and adopt all the strategies that we talk to clients about. And they got so much cash flow, they travel around the world a couple of times a year. They live life large. They have a great time doing it, and they're happy.
Yeah.
So my point with comparing those two clients is not about their net worth. It's about what makes them happy in life, whether it's living in a nicer house or living in a lesser house. It's the cash flow that they generate as a result of that to do all the beautiful things that you need to do.
That you want to do in the end. Yeah.
And that's just not at retirement either. That's leading into retirement and then beyond. So the amount of roof that you put over your head from a value point of view sometimes dictates the amount of wealth you can create.
True.
Linking back to what we spoke about before around good debt and bad debt.
Yes.
And if you got that much bad debt that you just never be able to chew through that in your working life, then that's when it comes down to making some financial decisions that suit what you're looking for. So that's what we do.
Yeah. If I follow your advice perfectly for the next 10 years, what's the most likely financial outcome for me? And what assumptions are you making about my behavior?
You'll be happy. That's what you'll be.
Yeah.
What you will be is you'll be well informed, you'll be well empowered to make good quality decisions. Because what we do is just don't tell you what to do, because telling someone what to do is easy, right? I've been financial planning for long enough. I can meet someone in 10 seconds, look at their financial position and tell them what to do. But once I understand who you are and what you want to achieve, both personally and professionally and financially, then we can tailor a financial plan that comes up to suit you. And then you'll be well empowered, and you'll not just know the what to do, but you'll know the why. Okay, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you borrowing that dollar or not borrowing that dollar? Why are you buying that property or that share? Or why are you putting money into super, or why are you not putting money into super? That is based on your personal position, and you'll be well empowered and know why you're doing what you're doing.
What you're doing, yeah.
It's a big thing, because unless people know the why, I believe people then make decisions on two levels. They do it on pure trust, okay, which is nice because clients and ourselves have good trust between each other, and there always has to be that genuine trust combined with good quality information and advice.
Yeah.
But people then, if they don't have knowledge, they're just doing it on blind faith. And that's not something that we're comfortable with.
No. It's all about, again, education and information, and it has to be the right kind. And it's more about the guidance, isn't it? Because you are giving them guidance, like what's the right thing for you to do and for your personal portfolio.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you had to build your wealth from zero, same rules as your clients, what do you personally do different from them?
What would I do differently from my clients? Well, I actually practice what I preach. So everything that comes out of my mouth professionally, I actually do myself. And that started since day dot. I went into business for myself quite early in life. I was 26 years of age when I set up my own business. And it's when I bought my laptop and did that. And for the first part of my journey, I actually invested into my business. That was the first investment that I made. Then I met my beautiful wife and we joined finances together. And then we started to grow our wealth together. So, and literally practicing what we preach. Managing cash flow. We still enjoyed lifestyle along the way. That's very important as far as what I do personally, and also what I encourage my clients to do. If you're going to work hard, you've got to go and enjoy a bit of lifestyle along the way. Managing cash flow, buying good quality assets. Now, that's easy to say, but sometimes hard to do. Good quality property that has good income, that has good growth potential, that has good tax benefits, that has good reasonable costs associated with it. All the stuff that we encourage people to buy, just buy good quality assets that suit what you're looking for. Same things when it comes to shares. Buy good quality diversified bags of shares. Don't punt, don't speculate, because that's not investing. That's literally gambling. So investing is very different to speculating. So buy good quality assets and keep accumulating more good quality assets. If an asset becomes not good quality because the nature of it changes or for some reason, get rid of it. Okay, you can go and buy something that's decent. Or keep accumulating more of what you've already got. So manage debt appropriately. Don't be scared of debt. Understand debt. And embrace it in the right way that suits you as an individual. That's what I've certainly done in the past.
From your experience, why do you think people are scared of debt? Or have you seen anyone being like really scared of of
Oh, look, absolutely, all the time.
Yeah.
It's I suppose comes back to that understanding. Right? We're all very comfortable going out and borrowing some money to go and buy a car because we need a car. Right? We borrow money to buy a vehicle because we need to get from A to B. So we're quite happy to go and borrow money, non-tax deductible, and we're borrowing money to buy an asset with a fair degree of certainty it's going to go down in value. But we do that every day and we're quite comfortable doing it. But when it comes to buying an asset with a fair degree of certainty, it's going to grow over time and you might get some tax deductions on the debt that you're borrowing as well. Sometimes we get really scared. Right?
Why is that? What's that fear?
The fear is not knowing. It's because we need that asset to get from A to B. Because A being now and B being some point in the future, whether it be retirement or beyond, there's always that fear of what if the asset goes down in value, or what if I got the debt with no asset. So that's where debt combined with good quality assets is important. Because would I personally go and borrow money to buy something that has a fair degree of certainty to go down or go to zero? No, because that's speculating. Would I be prepared to go and borrow the right amount of money for me to go and buy a good quality asset that I can afford?
Yeah.
When interest rates go up and down, okay, when asset values fluctuate as well, because we need to leave strategy and buffer in place for that. It's about understanding and having the right information to make some good quality decisions.
True. So having the right professional like yourself by your side to guide you in the right direction.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's always the everyone needs a coach, right? Even the Winter Olympics is on at the moment, and every one of those athletes has got a coach, and those coaches are able to go and guide and nurture that athlete and put them in the right decision. I'm sure there's been lots of pain and suffering that coach has inflicted on that athlete in the past, and no different in the financial world too. We like to encourage people to understand, or encourage people to might do things that they might not have been comfortable doing themselves. But also
like making your own coffee rather than buying one.
Absolutely, yeah. That's only if you can make a good coffee. Absolutely, but just continuing to go and encourage people to do something, put them outside that comfort zone that they might not have done by themselves. But also, a good quality coach, it pulls people back from doing something that might be inappropriate or not in their best interest, or something that just puts them at a higher amount of risk that that they're willing to go and take. And that's what we do.
How do you do that? Is there sort of a structure to it, or do the clients just come to you for advice and then you're like, no? And then is there an accountability thing that you put it on them? Like, if you do X, Y, or Z, have to come to me first before you do that?
Open relationships is what we love to have with our clients, and proactive advice is a big thing. If a client's got an idea, okay, come and talk to us. Let's factor that idea in and put the numbers around it, because if the numbers don't make sense, the numbers don't make sense. So I encourage people to do the logic and do the calculation first of what they're thinking about doing, and then make an emotional decision after that. Whereas how many times in life do we make an emotional decision?
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time, especially when people are buying home, and especially when they are buying a home at auction. It's very emotional driven. And it's like at the end of it, they realize, oh my goodness, it does not make any sense financially that we have bought, like an expensive home like this, and we didn't need it that. So what's your advice on that in terms of, like, should people buy it at auction, or should they not buy it at auction, or does not have to do anything with that? Or how would you sort of, like, say, for example, if I'm coming to you and I'm like, John, I really like this home and I really want to buy it, and I want to buy it for myself and for my family. And then you're like, can you buy it either? But I know that this property is at auction. Would you advise me not to buy it at auction and look for or wait for something else to come around? Or what would your guidance be?
Yeah, well, look, us as human beings by nature, we're emotional creatures, right? So sometimes auctions can be that situation where we get very emotive with our decision making. I'm a very boring financial planner, right? Let's come back to the numbers. It's now, if you don't have the ability to do the numbers yourself, and when I say the numbers, set out in advance what you want to achieve, right? Yes, you want to buy a property. Yes, you can borrow so much money, and yes, you have so much of a deposit to go and put towards that. And yes, your cash flow that according to your lifestyle suggests that you can go and do all that. So if you go outside that realm, you get emotional in an auction and then put your hand up and you win that auction, then you're on the hook for that property, right?
Yeah.
So know your boundaries with when it comes to that. So buying at auction or not buying at auction is neither here or there. But know your financial strategy on what you want to achieve.
Okay.
Because I use this.
I would not go to auction, to be honest, even though I'm becoming an auctioneer.
Yeah.
Just because of depending, again, where the property is and how much I really want to buy it, basically, depends on that. But just knowing the environment of auction and how competitive it can get to a point where I know that I will put my hand up just because I really like that property.
Yeah, yep.
That's basically why people do auction, right?
Here's a little one-liner that I use in my business all the time, okay? Why strategy is far more important than actually buying the product at the end of the day. You could go and buy the best property in the best street, and if you haven't got your strategy in order, which means your debt ratios are too high or your cash flow is not right because if interest rates rise, you're going to have to sell the best property in the best street probably pretty quickly, maybe at a discount because you've just overextended too much because the asset didn't suit your strategy.
Yeah.
So that's a big key. So even the best asset and will need to be altered with if your strategy doesn't support it. So that probably reverts back to
control your mind, control your urges.
Yes, keep your finger down. Put it up when your strategy says yes.
Okay. What's the biggest financial mistake that you see that smart and high income people make?
Trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to keep up with your next door neighbour, trying to keep up with all your other friends at barbecues and whatnot.
Greed,
reverts back to that.
Yeah.
The only person that I try and keep up with is the person looking at me in the mirror to make sure that I do things that are suitable to myself. So I find that a lot. A lot of high income earners always talk to each other at barbecues and the people are doing different things and I'm going on this holiday or I'm buying that car or I'm buying that house or buying that share. And it's trying to keep up with people that might be in a totally different financial position. So only aim up against the person that you're looking at in the mirror.
Right, okay. Does that mean that don't hang out with people? Just stay at home. Don't go anywhere.
Information is the good, bad, and the ugly is good, right? So listen to everybody and make your own decisions. So,
okay.
That's don't stay at home. Get out and about.
Yeah. I'll have to come back to you. Where do people leak most money without even realizing it?
There's a couple of really specific areas. It's unnecessary fees or costs. That's what I call financial waste. Right. So either having a cash account that might not be earning you the best interest. Okay. These are little 1%ers I'm talking about. Having a super fund, you might have a default fund sitting inside your super that you're paying excess fees and you just don't know, you don't realise that you're paying. So excess fees. Interest rates on your mortgages. Haven't looked at your mortgage and you get a bit financially lazy.
Yeah.
Then there's that interest rate creep on your home loan or on your investment loans. So it's what I call a bit of financial waste. It's a good thing to have a look at your financial position, and that's what we do for our clients. And what financial waste do you have in your situation already, and just eliminate it. It's easy to do. And then there's what I call opportunity cost. Okay, and the opportunity cost means by not making that decision, what did it cost you? Or what didn't you make? I didn't buy that property or I didn't buy that share because I didn't feel right, or if the strategy said yes, but I didn't feel right. And then fast forward 10 years and fast forward 20 years, everything tends to get a bit more expensive when we look forward. So opportunity cost. And then there's what I call strategy or legislation waste, right? So there's so much benefit around taxation benefits with regards to superannuation when you hit certain ages. So if you're
what are the certain ages?
At 55, you should be thinking about it.
Yeah.
At 60, there's some certain trigger points with regards to superannuation that you might be able to access or might not be.
Right.
And then definitely at 65.
Right. Okay.
There's some really date ranges there, with especially when it comes to retirement planning, whether you're working or not, around superannuation.
Right.
And there's lots of rules for super, right? What you can put in, what you can take out, when you can put it in, when can you take it out, how is it taxed? It's a very complicated world.
Yeah.
We're experts in that area. We're professionals in that area. We know the legislation back to front. It's about how that adapts to you and how does that work for you. But people who are not getting financial advice in those age brackets are just leaving a lot of waste on the table. And in today's world, to get advice around superannuation, you can't go to your accountant to go and get that advice. They're just not allowed to provide that advice to you. And we're not allowed to give specific tax advice either. So it's about working with the client and also with their other professionals.
Yes.
When it comes to especially the likes of super, they need to get good quality advice around their retirement planning.
Yeah.
So there's a few areas there that just eliminate the waste with regards to, I suppose, product waste.
Yeah.
With excess fees and whatnot, strategic waste, and then opportunity costs with regards to your assets.
Yeah, no, awesome. Just in regards to how important it is to work with other professionals and who are those other professionals and how important it is to work with the right professional. So in terms of like you would have seen even the financial planners, there are so many different financial planners, just finding the right one, finding the right accountant, finding the right financier, finding the right, a mortgage broker or whatever. Like what is your normal sort of team that you work with, and how do you sort of direct your client to move in the right direction and work with the right professionals if they don't have one, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. Like surrounding yourself with good quality people is key. At My Fortress Financial Planning, we focus on holistic financial advice. So within financial planning, you can be a financial planner, but you only focus on one part of financial planning. But we're a holistic firm where we do look at strategy, we do look at superannuation, we do look at personal insurances, and we do look at the successor in that wealth as well. And then when it comes to actually buying good quality assets, we do advocate property, shares and cash and have a good balance of all of that. So we're a holistic firm. And in your corner, you absolutely need to go and get some tax advice with regards to your accounting, because tax is an important part for most people with regards to that holistic view. With regards to a mortgage broker, we don't do mortgage broking under our roof, but you must go and deal with a good quality mortgage broker that you do trust. You need to go and deal with the legal person when it comes to putting structures in place, or whether it be your wills and estate planning, to make sure that that's all tied together and tidied off nicely, make sure the right monies go to the right people at the right time. You must go and deal with the right buyer's agency to make sure that you actually get the right property to go and suit what you're looking for, because normally a property is a large asset purchase, so it can't be entered into lightly. And for most people, it's going to be the largest asset that they purchase. So you need to surround yourself with good quality professionals in all of those spaces to get to a really good, wholesome view. That's what we definitely encourage within our financial planning business. We have that good, strong relationship with the client on our financial planning matters, and then go and work with their trusted professional. And that word trusted professional is very important.
It's very important
To get the right outcome for you as the individual, or you as the client.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, John. If I was to come to you, is there a certain age, or do I have to earn a certain amount of money in order for you to guide me in the right direction? So say, for example, if a 20-year-old will come to you, would it be the right time for them to start their financial planning, or would you ask them to earn a certain amount of money and have a certain amount of cash flow in order for them to come to you to guide them in the right direction?
Yeah, good question, Vasha. We, because of our size of financial planning firm, we're big enough to be big, but still small enough to be very service orientated and nimble. We do look after all clients at every stage of their life. We look after that client who's just starting out, that may be looking to buy their first property, maybe to engage in a bit of debt, need their superannuation sorted, and getting some insurances to protect them along the way. So we can actually look after that client and point them in the right direction.
Yes.
We do have that, what we call the wealth accumulator client. They might have a family that are growing their wealth and they're pushing the envelope towards retirement. So we've got advisors in our business that really specialise in that type of client, and they're the clients that might be working for themselves or working for somebody else, and they're looking to really create that next opportunity, but they just don't know what or know how. And then another segment of our business, or people that we can look after, is that pre and post retiree. That's where people have come to us. We prefer to work with people at the beginning right through.
Yeah.
But people do come to us at retirement, and that's where there's that much waste that they're not utilising, or there's opportunity cost that they should be putting in their top pocket rather than someone else's.
Yeah.
That's a client that we love to deal with as well, and love to give them some assurity or security about what their world looks like when they do turn that income tap off and become permanently unemployed for the rest of their life and call retirement.
Yeah. So, John, how do people reach out to you?
People can give our office a call directly, and we'll put the telephone numbers in the notes.
Yeah.
And give us a call, book an appointment. The first initial appointment that we have is at our cost, so we don't pass that on to the client. Awesome. We want to get to know somebody to see where we can help. So that's the first action item. Come and have a chat with one of our quality advisors and sit down, and we just want to explore and see where we can assist. If we can't, we'll point you in the right direction. If we can, absolutely, we're never backwards in coming forwards with those suggestions.
Awesome. And you will make them a really good coffee as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Spot on. Another thing that we do have in our business as far as the information and education piece is that every 2 to 3 weeks in our organisation, we run investment seminars where people can come and have a listen and learn about all the nuts and bolts of wealth creation, wealth protection and wealth distribution. We've run those in our business for the last 21 years. So
when is the next one?
The next one is on the 3rd of March. And come and have a listen. We run them on a rotation basis. So come and have a listen and engage in some good quality information because it's sometimes hard to find. So everyone's welcome, and that's where you can get a nice coffee too.
Amazing. Thank you. Thanks, John. If this episode gave you clarity, now is the time to execute it. Take one action, apply it, and start building your version of the financial freedom. Share it with someone if you thought this episode has added value. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Commercial Wealth Podcast.